Okay, going, and I'm here with a couple of ladies, and we're going to talk about this stuff that's going on down at the Sandhills and some dogs that have been caught in traps, and turns out they have been shot. So I'm going to let the ladies introduce themselves. I'm going to start on the left of my screen here. Caulder, North Carolina. Go for it, young lady.
Hi, my name is Lauren Reece. Previously was a public free organization called Project North Carolina. Right now, most of the work I do is strictly legislative and government auditing, but still working heavily in the animal welfare community to try and build bridges where there's a lot of conflict. And this topic I took an interest in recently more heavily than the past, and I'm hoping to bring some things to kind of help bridge conflicts in those areas and help the hunting community continue to do what they love to do.
Okay, thank you. And Tessie, you go ahead.
I am Tessie Caulder-Brigman. I am the director of Richmond County Animal Shelter, located here in Rockingham, North Carolina. I'm actually a hound owner myself, also.
Right, and I think I met your husband before.
Really?
Yeah, I was looking at your profile. I think I met your husband. So,
okay. Do I apologize or do I just say thank you?
Everything's good. Everything's good for now.
Okay.
You really should take a moment and throw a picture up there. That orange screen is. Now, don't get me wrong. The orange is cool, but
where is I don't have. So it says meet video. It doesn't give me a. Let me see if it'll let me add the video. Hold on.
Do you have it? There you go.
Oh, look at that. Y'all should have told me I was going to be on this because I said, hold on, allow.
Turn it back on.
Okay. Okay. It's back on now.
All right. There we go.
Okay.
So, that's better.
Hey, Lauren.
Hey, girl.
So Tessie, tell me what's going on. Let me tell you what I think I know, and then you tell me what's going on down there.
Okay.
Number one, there's some conflict around Sandhills, and they're looking at implementing a permit system for hunting dogs. And I don't really know that much about it, but I think your hunting club is in on that. So the next thing is that there's a government agency down there doing some trapping.
Correct.
And they've caught 2 dogs so far.
I've
caught 5 dogs. Okay.
Yeah, those other dogs belong to other people, and not just. Yeah, they weren't just strays. They belonged to other people who came and got their dogs.
Okay. So there's 2 dogs that there was 5 dogs caught. I'm going to go back and ask a question about that.
Okay.
But there's 2 that you have now, and both of those dogs have got bullets in them.
They do.
And one of them has a head wound.
Correct.
The bullet on the other one's where?
In her shoulder.
In her shoulder.
Yes.
All right. From what I saw on that X-ray, it looked like that head wound might have been a 22.
Yeah. The vet could not remove it today. He called me this afternoon and said that he did the surgery, could not remove it. He is going to wait on the swelling to go down, and go back again in 30 days and try a different route.
So the picture that I saw with the blood on the side of the dog's head, when was that picture taken?
Today.
Was that after the surgery?
That was before the surgery. That was to have the surgery. The dog had gotten brought in by 2 Good Samaritans to a vet clinic Saturday. They called me because they had found a dog in a foot trap and needed the dog brought to us, but they went ahead and took the dog to the vet because it had an injury on the foot. Asked them where they were. They told me they were on game land. So I guess they were walking the trail. I don't have specifics on that. Took the dog to the vet. The dog was severely dehydrated. It was documented that he had gone without water for at least 4 to 6 hours. And I know those guys don't have to check traps, but once every 24 hours, which it was kind of hot outside that day, or warmer than normal that day, which pretty much led to the dehydration. The dog was fat, fine, but he had 0.3 bleached out on his fur.
So we're doing a field trial somewhere.
hmm That's what we figured. So I brought him home with me. I noticed that whenever I'd pet him, that he would kind of move his head a little bit and didn't want me to touch that area. So got him back to the vet this morning after his well, I showed a picture of his face. It became swollen. If y'all hear anything, it's my dog in the house.
Okay.
But I got him back to the vet, and then the veterinarian was like, let me get an x-ray of his head. And so he went in there and did an x-ray of the head. That's when it showed the bullet or pellet back here behind the eye area. So my veterinarian wanted to do the surgery to have it removed, since that is what's causing the swelling. It was a recent shot in the head. So not anything that would have happened like a week ago or anything like that, but something that was not visual to the eye and was only able to be found once the swelling started and the ooze up here started, which is why you saw the top of his head shaved by the vet office.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show those pictures right now because
That's fine.
social media will get all over me. But I actually have a Rumble account, and I can
Okay.
show those on Rumble. So
Okay.
so I'll during the edits, or I don't really edit much. I'm going to post this video just exactly like we do it. So it
Okay.
can nobody be able to say we edited something out or whatever. It's going to be
Correct.
just like a live recording. But on Rumble, I'm going to go back and throw those pictures in so that people can see them.
Okay.
But Rumble won't fuss about it. But YouTube and Facebook sure will. So
Yeah.
so the people that are doing the trapping, are they contractors? Are they government employees?
So to my understanding, it is a contracted licensed trapper for the USDA.
Okay.
And so, and the trapper is, stop it, Sherman. The trapper is licensed. I mean, he's knowledgeable in the traps, knowledgeable in the laws. My issue came from every dog that he brought in being injured. And Department of Agriculture, we're the animal shelter. I run the animal shelter here. So, and people are blowing my phone up now about Roscoe. But my job at the animal
Answer it and
shelter,
ask them, do they want to be on? Ask them that. Answer it and ask them, they want to be on TV.
they're actually wanting to pull him at a rescue. So,
Oh,
yeah. So, but I think I'm going to bring Roscoe home with me because I think he and Sharman will, think him and my Roddy will get along great. But my issue with the dogs that were being brought to us, like I was saying, the Department of Agriculture, if we get a dog or a cat in that's been injured that has to have medical attention, we have to provide that medical attention.
right.
So it is we are having to foot the bill.
When you
Luckily,
say the county,
the taxpayers, yes. So we get a certain budget from the county every year to run the county shelter. My corporation does, but also I was fortunate enough to obtain a nonprofit. So my nonprofit is actually raising the funds to pay for the vet bill, so it does not bleed out the tax money that's already set aside to come in and run the shelter. And so far, I think the vet quoted me between $850 and $1,000 for the treatment just for this time, and we've raised $450 so far, which
okay.
is good. I mean, that's good.
So the surgery, are they trying to go in the entrance hole and pull the bullet out? Is that what the plan is? Or?
I'm not sure what his procedure was. I do know that he went in as far as he could go and feel comfortable about going to remove the bullet. And didn't feel comfortable going any farther. The bullet was actually farther down, deeper than what he had thought. So he's going to wait 30 days, let the swelling go down, and the infection or whatever it is, it's called some type of abscess, but it's coming from the bullet. So he's going to wait for that to go down so he can safely go back in again in 30 days to remove it.
So Tessie, who's the trapper?
um,
Going to get it with a public records request one way or the other.
so I mean, I don't mind to Caleb Mavicki.
Is he local?
I think he's from Hope County. And I know he used to be an animal control officer there. So either go outside, Sharman. He's got a friend that keeps coming over here to play. Sorry. It's like having a 2-year-old in here. But I've dealt with him. Yeah, I've dealt with him in the past, and I mean, and like I said, I'm not going to sit here and spout off and say that he's not knowledgeable in what he does, and I'm not going to say that what they caught. They are all I am aware of is that they were out there to trap coyotes on an area of Camp McCall. I cannot tell you if this area is Camp McCall or not. I've got the map posted on my Facebook page. It's public, where the Good Samaritans got the one dog out of the trap, which is Roscoe. And it's not far from a residential area. It's within like a mile of the residential area.
So, I'm very familiar with Camp McCall. I spent a little time there myself, but I wasn't checking traps. Algic?
Do what now?
I said, she's been awful quiet over there. I didn't know if she wanted to throw something in there. I can see the wheels turning over there.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, like, legal wise, you run into a lot of gray areas there. So I do caution about making sure that there's no implications of blame towards him at this time, unless there's evidence otherwise.
We're going to do facts, not opinions.
Right. I do think it's worth looking into to say we have this concern and here's reasons why we have this concern. But unless we can, where we would have to really look into it is with the USDA, with their contractors. What are their rules? What are their requirements? What are they legally supposed to do in situation A, B, C, or D? And the fact that he's brought dogs that he's previously trapped to the animal shelter, to Tessie, maybe he hadn't checked this trap yet and was in a position to take the dog in yet. So knowing that he previously has brought them in like he's supposed to do, it's going to be kind of hard to say like he wouldn't have brought that dog in too.
Well, this isn't a lynch meeting for the trapper. I got
and I can tell you he was very.
I got no reason to doubt him at this point.
Right. When we do the public records request, it is important to say, like, we're just trying to get a better understanding of what the rules are for contracted trappers. Do they get issued firearms? Do their firearms have to get cleared with you guys first before they can use it, or can they use their personal own firearms? And just what their laws are.
I mean,
and I do not think that the trapper has caused these injuries to these dogs. I mean, I'll say that I do not think for 1 minute that he did that. My personal encounter with him, I think he has a care and a concern for the domesticated animals. Mm-hmm. That is my thought on him, on meeting him. My concern fell in when they've all got foot injuries. So, you have to take them to the vet. You have to have that foot checked. You have to have the x-rays done. And he has removed them in a way. I mean, they're not awful traps. I don't think they're the traps that they used to use. These are, I don't even like using the word more ethical. I don't care. I'm not a big fan of foot traps, at all. And I'm gonna be very, forthcoming with that. But I do know that he did trap for, he was out there setting traps for coyotes, and I think it's near a landing zone for, Camp McCall.
Okay. Well, my position on trapping is we support legal and ethical, hunting, fishing, and trapping. Mm-hmm. So doing is legal and ethical. We got no problem with it. I understand trapping needs to happen. And that's someone who's had their dog caught in a trap before. I had my dog caught in a trap, He had a foot injury. Didn't break anything, but he still has a scar on his foot today, and he's about 12. And he got
Wow.
9 months old. So, but he still has a mark on his foot. You can still see it. So, but he's just fine. He runs fine. He does fine. He's happy. He's a happy dog. But he did get caught in a trap, and I got him out within about 10 minutes of him getting caught. And the trap he got caught in was set illegally.
Oh,
It was not trapping season. The person had set it right on the property line. And when I say right on the property line, I don't think I could have gotten it any closer to the property line if I'd have used a GPS program to set it. I don't know that half the trap wasn't on my property. So, and it was not trapping season. It was set illegally. So,
And some of this, I can see where there's movement to like do some sort of registration process for hunters on game lands. If you check in a hunter and their dogs, they can't leave until they've gathered up all of their dogs. And it makes the individual hunter be responsible versus the whole community for the things that are happening on these game lands, because this does happen. And I know that all of us have talked about how that gives the hunting community a really bad name, and the hunting community doesn't want that stigma either.
no, we don't.
In some ways, I can see how some types of legislation can be hunter friendly while also addressing the lack of accountability and responsibility.
ladies, it's got dark in my office. I didn't have any lights on. So
I just think the wildlife says they don't have the staffing.
And I'm just trying to get some light turned on. So you keep talking, and I'm just going to be fiddling for a minute.
So I spoke to game lands in Craven County. I spoke with some of the avid involved parties in that area. And the biggest concern with that was staffing. So wildlife has had funds cut dramatically over the last couple of years. Their staffing is down to the lowest that I think that I've ever been familiar with. They just can't man somebody at these game land entrances to sit there and log hunters in and out and count their dogs and get the proper documentation to make sure they leave with all the dogs that they come in with. So I do see some of those barriers being a problem for legislation like this, likely keeping it from passing. But in some ways, I do see how that could be really useful legislation to help address some of those issues. Again, I just don't see how it's going to get implemented. Like, good laws mean nothing without good enforcement. So even if we get a great law passed, if we can't enforce it reasonably with the resources available, then it really serves no purpose. And that's what these legislators are making decisions on, both locally and statewide. So I think if there could be some, maybe in a volunteer capacity, maybe in a contracting capacity, like they do with trappers, like contracting in people who are interested in getting into wildlife, students, Boy Scouts, people who would be willing to volunteer their time to check in these hunters and their dogs, make sure that they're checking out with the same amount of dogs that they went in with. I mean, I don't think, there might be a couple hunters, especially if they're coming from out of state, that might stay on a game land for multiple nights or something like that, or nearby.
Yeah, there's some you can't. And it would be nearly impossible to do what you're talking about. You got, for example, I hunt game lands sometimes, but usually I don't. But I might go into the hunting club at 5 o'clock in the morning. I might not leave until 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
Right.
And I might catch up my my deer, my bear dogs, and I might go coon hunting that night. So I might hunt half the night too. And I'm not saying everybody does that, but I am saying that a bunch of people do that.
Right.
But people in and out's really not gonna, I don't think it would be feasible at all.
I don't either. I think it's a great concept, but in application, it's just not, it's not feasible.
People being decent people is one thing that's really important. And I think it's actually wild that somebody can have a dog, abandon the dog, be a
That's the problem
cruelty
right now.
and then go get another dog the next day.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's something that should stop.
That's the problem we're having here. And now I work very closely with animal control here in this county. Um, our biggest problem that we're having, or one of our biggest problems, is our folks coming in from other counties, other states, and game lands are one of the places that they go. And I will tell you that the B block, if you're familiar with B block out there, that is a big dumping area. Now we have dogs. I've said that off gate. We have hunting dogs here, deer dogs. Now my husband will not turn one of our dogs loose without a Garmin on it. That
I mean,
Garmin is going to tell anywhere that that dog goes. We had an issue that happened here a couple of years ago, right up the road from up here, and a man said that one of the hunting dogs that he shot was over there at his chicken pen, chicken coop, trying to get in. I called the game warden and I called animal control because it was my daughter's dog. They had a Garmin. That Garmin showed that that dog went nowhere near that chicken coop. You see what I'm saying? I mean, you've got people out there with a hatred towards the dogs because they hate the way of life.
well,
They
that's
hate.
what we're going to talk about these bullets in these dogs. I got a serious problem with these bullets in these dogs. You said they're fairly close to a residential area.
Mhm.
Are we talking about a subdivision, or are we talking about just some houses down the road?
I'd be lying if I said anything. I'd be lying if I told you that I knew. I just know it's in an area in Hoffman. It's near the old school in Hoffman. I don't know how close those. I do know it's within a mile of a residential area. And now country folks in their mindset, especially ones that have been here, 50, 60 years, is I live in the country, I can let my dog roam.
Right.
And so their dogs getting caught on that is one thing. Then you have someone who was walking their dogs on that area, and just on a nature walk, their dogs getting caught in the traps. And then you have a hunting dog, which is Roscoe, who I'm I'm not scared to say that I believe he was dumped, collar taken off, dumped out on game lands, and then he ends up in a trap. I don't know when the bullet, I don't know when he was shot. I can just tell you it was more recent than not. And
Well,
that's from somebody above my pay grade.
so he hadn't been dumped long.
Right.
But if anybody out there listening, anybody out there watching this wants to tell me who dumped that dog, it's got a number on the side of it.
03.
Somebody knows whose dog this is. Go to the Army of Orange Facebook page, click message or click email, tell me who it was, and I'll see to it that they get an appointment with a judge. And I might even have some money for you. We get him,
And I'll donate.
we get that person convicted. We get that person arrested and convicted. We're going to give you $1,000. And I might have more than that for you, because there's a bunch of hound organizations that have rewards that we'll throw in. We'll put some money in your pocket. But don't call me up and lie to me. Don't send me an email and lie to me. Tell me what's up. Somebody knows who Roscoe belongs to. Somebody knows who Roscoe's real name is. So let's cut the BS. I am not interested in anybody dumping dogs. I'm not going to protect you. I'm not going to stand with you. I'll testify against you if I can. So let's step up, houndsman. Somebody knows where that dog came from. Send a DM, send an email. I think the phone number's on the page. Call me. But I prefer you email me because I might be busy when you call. And people are tough about not wanting to leave a voicemail. So, but let's find out. Let's see who did it.
One of the things like I can say on both sides of this issue is that there are more good hunters than bad hunters. So when it comes to that, like if we want to protect it, we also have to do the right thing. And I know that it's hard to say something sometimes, but at the same time, like, you know who the bad hunters are in your community. You know who they are. Everybody in the community knows exactly who they are. And when you're drinking with them on Friday, hanging out with them on Saturday, going to church with them on Sunday, going to the hunting club, you're supporting that behavior. and it's rubbing off on the community. And we really have to start stepping up as individuals to make things better in our community and protect the tradition of hunting dogs. Like, I don't run dogs, but I avidly hunt. I have lots of friends that run dogs. And one of the things that we've built in my county is you see something, you say something. Nobody's afraid to call somebody out for being a bad houndsman. And we don't worry about any consequences of that. It gets handled in the community. They get shunned. They get called out. It gets publicly put out there that they're not taking care of their dogs. And as a result, we've started blacklisting from the clubs around here, making sure that people like that are not part of the community. It's important that we all try to do that in our counties, make sure that we're not allowing that.
I got about 10 more minutes and I'm going to have to go. I got another appointment. So I want to get in all my questions. Tessie,
Yes, sir.
there were 5 dogs caught. You told me one of those dogs, somebody was actually walking their dog and stepped on the trap. Is that what you're telling?
That's what I got from a reputable source out of Moore County. Yes.
Okay.
Those dogs were taken to a vet office, correct.
So 2 of the dogs were hounds. We don't know what the other 3 were?
Mm-mm.
No. And you mentioned
I
about
can-
country folks letting their dogs run. There a
Yes.
leash law there?
There is.
There is a leash law.
There is a leash law, and it is countywide. I think it's been here since June of 2013, 14, maybe 15 time frame. And when we were just talking about manpower and having manpower around to enforce, you have 2 animal control officers who in this county, and they have to serve 40-something thousand citizens in this county. And they're going all the way from Derby to the outskirts of Hamlet. I mean, it's just those 2 people can't be in every place at one time. If they were, I'd have them out at B block.
Unfortunately, wildlife does not get a pass from me. I'm friends with some higher ups, some retired higher ups, but they don't get a pass from me. When they want to do something, they have the manpower. The day after Christmas, 2020, I think it was, they showed up at my club, 5 officers and a sergeant, and pretty much raided us because somebody called them and told them that we were running dogs all over them. The landowner. And the funny thing is the officer, first name's Barbara, was standing at the door of my truck, and I was talking with her. By the way, there were no tickets issued, 0.
No proof.
So she's standing at my truck door talking. I said, "What caused this?" I said, "This isn't normal. So what's going on?" And she said, "Well, the landowner called and complained." I said, "What landowner?" And she said, "Well, I can't tell you that." I said, "Well, the reason I ask is, you see that red truck in front of me?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "That's the landowner. I'd go talk to him if I were you. That's whose land we're on right there." And she got this look on her face like, "Oh my God." Basically, somebody lied to them. But they issued 0 tickets and they hadn't been back. They hadn't bothered with us at all since. But when they want to do something, they've got the manpower.
They've also got the resources. Trail cameras can be put well up above where they can be easily reached, and we can start monitoring. When these dogs are found, we can start tracking it back a few days, see what kind of vehicles were coming in or out, maybe even catch them dumping the dogs. So if we know there's a hot spot dumping ground on a game land, it's the state government. They've got the funding to put some cameras up and hold people accountable that way too, without having to invest in the manpower aspect.
Well, I'm not a real big fan of them because I feel like they're invasive. But they've got these cameras called flock cameras that read license plates.
Yes. We have them in Richmond County.
Yeah. They're all over the United States.
And sometimes you've got to weigh
the
benefit versus the risk too.
Track of every truck that comes in and out of the game lands. It's not that difficult. It can be done. License plate readers can be done. There's a spot on Interstate 95 where there's a bunch of flock cameras underneath the bridge, and there's 5 or 6 highway patrolmen lined up there every day, waiting to get people that come by. They get their flock camera and they're pulling people over left and right. So they don't get a pass from me because when they want to do something, they do it. Um, unfortunately, there's glory and glamour in doing the drug bust or doing the raid or whatever, but there's not much glory in figuring out who shot old Roscoe in the head.
Money.
Got it, money.
And I
But
have money to put towards that as well. If anybody, I mean, it's not hard to find out. I would not think it would be hard to find out who had 03 bleached out on their hair for whatever purposes. I mean,
yeah,
in a field trial, whatever. I mean, it's 03 is it was very obvious on his side.
well, on the
And
same
this,
token, I got a field trial blanket's got 03 on it myself. So,
mhm.
I got one that says 06, I got 101, I got a bunch of field trial blankets. That
Are
number,
you able to take a picture of his side that shows like his markings, not of him entirely, but just of that, so we can share it around and get it out there on social
Yeah,
media?
it's on my Facebook page. I started it out with the pictures that the Good Samaritans sent me when I met them in Hoffman at Bostic's to pick him up.
did you ask them about collars and such?
He did not have a collar on.
All right. I'm not
And
familiar.
normally,
I'm not familiar with Sandhills Game Land's rules. Is there a training season on Sandhills? Can you run dogs there 24/7? What's the rule there?
I don't think you can run dogs there 24/7. I'm not certain, but I know just from listening to Keith, you can't do it 24/7.
Okay.
Are metal detectors allowed out there? I'm wondering if we can try and find collars and upload the
Oh,
tracking
honey, them hunters will take their collars back with them because they've got the
reason.
Garmin's or their nameplates on them. They're going to take them with them. The only time that you can't remove anything is if a dog is chipped.
Right.
And we can scan, and Roscoe was scanned for a chip.
Chips are a good idea. There's a problem with chips though. The companies that run the chips, when the company goes out of business, a lot
Yeah,
of the database goes away. It doesn't get
seen that.
transferred to another company. It just goes away. So you got a chip in a dog and no way to look it up.
There's
So
lots of hands in that basket too, because they've been promoted so much that everybody wants a piece of
that's
that.
right. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, but nobody wants to stay in business. And
Yeah.
sometimes the business model is not sustainable. So, I had another thing I wanted to say there, and I completely lost it. Oh, I know what it was. There's going to be some people that are not interested in donating to a nonprofit for Roscoe's medical care. Can they send the money to the veterinarian?
They can, and it's at Cooley Animal Hospital in Rockingham, North Carolina,
Okay. I want
right
you to
there on
send me an
74.
email when we get done. I'll put it in the description of the video when I post it. Video should be up tomorrow afternoon sometime.
Okay.
It'll be
All
on
right.
YouTube. It'll be on YouTube tomorrow. It'll be advertised on Facebook, and it'll be on Rumble sometime in the next couple of days. I got to do some edits for Rumble, but I'll put that
Okay.
information in the description because some people don't really like rescues, but they wouldn't mind helping. Oh, I lost you, Tessie. They
No, I
wouldn't.
know. I'm sorry. My husband was calling. It's all right. He cut it off.
Should have put
And
him
I should have put it on Do Not Disturb.
to him too. So, have you got have you ladies got anything you want to close with
That what now?
that you want to close with?
I just want to tell you guys, thank you for helping me be part of Roscoe's voice because I see this a lot in my job. And I'm well renowned all the way around. I mean, I'm all for the deer hunting, but I'm also all for humane treatment of my dogs and my cats, especially the ones that come into my shelter, especially the ones at my house. And Roscoe is pretty much going to be coming home and staying with me and be Sharman's brother, which is my Rottweiler that I got out of the animal shelter whenever I first started, right after I first started. So, but thank you a million for this. I mean, I didn't think this was going to get that much attention for him, and he deserves it. That vet said that he was so docile, a dog with injuries, and you're feeling around in his face and stuff, and he didn't even make a noise. It was just like, thanks. It's a whole thanks. I mean, hounds are very docile, very docile. Just loving. I'll cry talking about it, so I don't want to talk about it, but
Then you'll
I'm
make me.
looking.
Okay,
You.
For me, like, I'm just glad to see different parts of the animal welfare community like coming together with the hunting community. I think that's such an important connection that needs to happen, both to preserve hunting while also advocating for the best possible care for these dogs so they can do what they love for as long as they can and stay healthy and stay safe. For me, like, that's just been really wonderful to see, and I hope to continue to help build that bridge for sure.
okay. Well, ladies, I'm going to tell you one more thing. There's going to be all kinds in the comment section when this gets posted. There's going to be people going, yay, you're doing great. There's going to be people going, oh, I can't stand you. There's going to be people fussing at me. Why did you have them people on the show?
They do that to me every day. I don't care.
Yeah, we're used to that.
We're used to it. We don't care.
You know, that's like I was saying. If the trapper, I'm not saying he did anything wrong, but if he wants to come on and tell what he's doing, the camera's there. He can sit right in front of it and talk. So I don't sugarcoat it, but I do know. I was talking with her earlier. I keep sliding down in my chair. That there's areas where there's high conflict, like Sandhills, that people will steal dogs and take them and dump them. We actually caught some people stealing dogs a couple of times. We caught a dog being stolen out of a hunt in Virginia. It was about 10 years ago, and it was a rescue. They had a shopping list. They were going to the advertised field trials and stealing them a dog. And the dog in question that we caught them with turned up in Raleigh. You remember you mentioned Wake County earlier? Before we got on camera, we were talking about some stuff. The dog turned up in Raleigh, out of Virginia. We had another one that a friend of mine's name's Jim. He caught the guys red-handed stealing a dog down at the National Forest in Jones County, Croatan. It took me a minute to think of the name. Caught them red-handed stealing a dog in the Croatan. They've been stealing them all the time. And these guys were like, they were from the Ukraine or Russia or somewhere like that. And they would just steal your hunting dog and take the collars off of it and turn your dog loose and hunt it. And if they caught the dog again, they didn't care. Or if they did catch the dog, that was great. They'd take him home and bring him back and hunt him again. But they didn't care if they caught the dog or not. But they would steal your dog, take the collars off, and just use your dog. Another example I've got is my dog personally was stolen. Collars taken off, left in the woods, dog taken, never to be seen again, except she was seen again. It just so happened that one Saturday morning I got up and I was like, you know what would taste good today? Some McDonald's pancakes. So everybody in my house was asleep. I got up, drove down to McDonald's about 3 miles away, drove up in the parking lot in my hunting truck, didn't have the dog box on the truck, had the tailgate down. And as I pulled into the parking lot, I slowed down and I felt da-dunk, and I thought I'd hit something. I stopped and started looking around to see what I'd run into. And I looked up in my rearview mirror, and my dog Polly was looking through the back glass at me. She'd been missing 12 days.
Wow.
And I got out of the truck and made sure it was Polly. I was like, wow. So I didn't have a dog box. I just led her around to the passenger door and put her in the passenger seat, and decided I was going to go through the drive-through and get my pancakes then. So I'm in the drive-through driving around, and there's a lady comes walking up that I later found out was in a little small SUV, like a Toyota RAV4 or Subaru or something like that, with a leash in her hand, saying she was looking for a dog. I said, well, is that the dog you're looking for? And she said, well, it looks kind of like her. I said, well, that's my dog. And if you're looking for her, we're getting to the sheriff's department. But if that's not the dog you're looking for, I'm just going to get my pancakes and be on my way. But if you're looking for her, we're going to call the sheriff's department because she was stolen 12 days ago. So I have no idea why I decided to go to McDonald's that day, but I was led to go get my dog back. And I could not believe it. And as I was leaving, the lady still walking around the parking lot with a leash in her hand. and the car's there with the hatch back up, and there's a dog crate in the back, and they had opened the thing to try and feed her, and she got away from it and ran to me. So just being in the right place at the right time.
Bet you that dog crate's still open and that hatch is still open. She
So,
still got that leash.
So there's a lot of reasons that a dog could wind up with no collars and be out there and not be dumped. But there are some reasons why one could be dumped. And and if Roscoe was dumped, somebody shot Roscoe in the head.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing it was a small caliber round. But somebody shot Roscoe in the head, and somebody shot this other dog in the shoulder. And they're out on the game lands with no collars. I'm going to give it a 60% chance they were dumped. Yeah. And
I'm wondering if the caliber is the same.
I don't know if they were or if they weren't. That is one question that I asked. The dog that I named Sandy, she doesn't require any surgery for hers. Roscoe had to have surgery. And I mean, I could have easily walked in there and just said, "Hey, it's too much. We'll just have him put down." But I just, I ain't going to. A sweet dog.
So Tessie, you're going to do your homework. You're going to send me that information.
Yes, sir.
And you and I are going to talk later. And I've got another appointment at 8:00, so I'm cutting real short. So this will be on YouTube tomorrow evening. And thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Bye, Tessie. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, girl. Bye, Lauren. I'll talk to y'all soon.
All right. Bye.
All right. Bye.